Hi guys, welcome back. Today's video, I'm going to be showing y'all my top 10 favorite books of 2023. Now, this was honestly really hard to choose these 10 books. I took like multiple days to go down this list and like fill it out and figure out which books went in what places. I think that I have it in a good order. It may not be 100% in order, but these are overall my top 10 favorite books, and I'm excited to share them with y'all. It has a mixture of everything in it, from fantasy to romance to thriller, everything. So I'm excited. I'm gonna start at 10 and then go down to build the suspense. But yeah, let's just get right into it. So the book in spot number 10 is Happy Place by Emily Henry, but can I just say that this book would win first place on account of its cover, because this is the prettiest cover I've ever seen on a book. It is gorgeous. Like, just first of all, the pink color is so pretty, and then all of the little like people jumping in the water, and just the illustrations are so cute. But this is number 10. This book is about a girl and a guy. They're the main characters, and they go with their friends to one of her friends' beach houses. I forget what state it's in. I think it's Maine, but they've been going there every year, and this is their last year to go. So they're trying to make it special, but what all of the friends don't know is that her and her boyfriend are not together anymore, so they're kind of like faking still dating while they're at this beach house. And it's sad, it's happy, this book is just so good. I love it so much, but I think the cover alone would get this book first place. It is just so pretty. But yeah, I'm really gonna try to not say a lot about each book, or else this video would be like 20 plus minutes long. So I'm gonna try to kind of hurry through them. But the next book is The Overnight Guest by Heather Gutenkopf. Still don't know how to say her last name, but I read this book, I think back in the summer. This book is about this girl who goes up to this cabin. I think she's a writer, and she wants to just get away, but while she's at this cabin, a snowstorm rolls through, and it's really bad. So she's trapped inside of this cabin, and as the storm is piling up outside, the snow is piling up, I think she lets her dog out, and while she's out there, she finds a child laying in the snow, not moving. So she's like, what the heck? Brings the child inside, and that's when stuff starts to happen, and it's very intriguing, and it makes you just want to keep reading. I could not put this book down. I'm pretty sure I have memories of staying up really late to read this book, and whenever I got to the plot twist at the end, my mouth was literally hanging open. I ran to my boyfriend because he was in the living room, and I was like, you will not disbelieve what happened, as if he cared. But this book had a crazy plot twist at the end, and I would say it's good for winter, which is good because you can read it right now. Yeah, I love this book. Number 9. The next book is Archer's Voice. I feel like everyone's heard of this book. It is so good. It's so sad and heartwarming. This one's good for summer. I think this book also takes place in Maine. What is with these books taking place in Maine? But it tells the story of Archer. He doesn't talk. So the girl she didn't fully move there, but she was trying to escape something that happened in her hometown. So she went up, and she's staying in this little cabin, and she meets Archer, and their story just kind of goes from there. And it's really cute, really sad, but either way, really good book. This is more of a summer read. The next book is Survive the Night, and I feel like not a lot of people would agree with this, but this book was just so intriguing to me. This was another book that I could not put down. I think I read this in one day. Not one sitting, but throughout the course of one day, I just read this whole book. It's fairly short. The text is kind of big, but it is a shorter book. It's pretty skinny. The reason I didn't think I would like this book is because it takes place in a car. Basically the entire book, probably 90% of the book. And I did not think I would like that, but it is so good, and it's honestly really scary. It's just about this girl who is trying to get a ride home from college, and she lives a couple of states away, but another guy at the school offers to give her a ride home because he lives in the same state. So she does, but in the previous weeks and years and whatever, there had been a serial killer on the loose at her college, and so they were telling people don't get in the car with anyone you don't know. And I think you can tell where the story goes from there. This book was just so good. Kept me on, what is the saying? Kept me on my toes the whole time. I think that's what that's saying is. Why am I blanking right now? But yeah, this book's so good. The next book is another summer book, and it's The Summer of Broken Rules. I feel like people have mixed opinions on this book, but I freaking love this book. I ate it up. I sat outside while it was hot out because it was summer, and I just read this book. I had a drink. Like, I remember so vividly just sitting outside with a drink reading this book and loving it so much. This is about a girl who she's going to her cousin's wedding on her grandparents', like, not farm, but like little community to where there's like lots of houses and pavilions and whatever. And she meets a guy there who is a part of the groom's side of the family. And their relationship kind of just goes from there over the whole summer. And it's such a lighthearted summer read, like a summer romance fling. It's just, it was so good. And I want to reread this, but I'm going to wait until next summer because I don't know. I just love this book so much. I honestly think about this book a lot. Okay, now that we're getting into the last 5, wait, I think, right? Yes, we're down to the last 5. And this is where we start getting into the fantasy books. I learned in about August, so about halfway through the year, that I am a ginormous fantasy fan. I never really read fantasy. I read Harry Potter growing up and I loved it. It was my favorite series, but other than that, I never read fantasy because I didn't think I would like it. But that all changed in August. So we're getting into the last 5. Number 5 is A Court of Wings and Ruin from the ACOTAR series. This is the 3rd book in the series. This is also the book where the war takes place. So it's very action-packed and emotional, and just, I could really say a lot about this book, but I'm not going to because it would take me 20 years to rant and talk about this because I'm so passionate about it. But this is a very, very thick book. It took me a little bit to get through, but that doesn't mean I didn't love it. I absolutely loved this book. I think about it at least once a week. No, way more than once a week, but yeah. Fairies, the Fae, the war, that's all you need to know. Go read the ACOTAR series if you haven't. The next book is a thriller, a little break from fantasy. I know I said the last 5 were fantasy, but this is Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. This book is a very, very, very dark book, and I know that Sarah and Haley have talked about this on their channel about how just like dark it was. It is a very, very dark book, but it is so good. It's about this girl who goes missing one day while she's out from her house, and she's young. I don't remember how young. I think she's like 13, 14, something like that. And her mom is obviously like searching for her. And it goes back and forth between 2 point of views, but the mom years later starts to date a guy, and he has a daughter that looks just like her missing daughter. Like, it's freaky. So she's starting to be like, why does your daughter look like identical, like twins with my daughter? So weird. It really goes downhill from there. I really liked this book because of the emotion it brought out of me. I feel like when a book can bring that much emotion out of you, you really like the book, because words on paper, you know, making you cry, it's just crazy. Like, crying so much from a book is very odd, but it's a very deep book, but it's really, really good, and I would recommend it. Okay, number 3, we're down to the last 3, is Heir of Fire. I literally just finished this book like yesterday, and it was so good. A character comes into this book that is a main character in the rest of the series from what I've heard, and it was just, oh my god, this one kind of had me like giggling and kicking my feet. Not like fully, but I don't know, it was just something about it. I don't want to spoil anything, but this is in the Throne of Glass series, if I did not say that already. This is book number 4. Well, I think it's really 3, but if you count Assassin's Blade in the series, then this is book number 4. But really, really loved this book. Would definitely recommend this. Okay, guys, the last 2 books cannot be a shocker to anyone. So number 2 is A Court of Thorns and Roses. This is obviously the ACOTAR series. This is book number 1, the main one. And I feel like a lot of people's, when they rank the books in this series, I feel like this one is not normally like number 2, number 3. It's usually number 4, number 5. But I personally loved this book. Like, this book this is the book that made me realize that I might like fantasy. Like, I loved this book so much, and I can't wait to reread it. But this book is about Feyre. She lives in the mortal world, and she sees a wolf one day and she kills it, and that starts a whole string of events where she goes into the Fae world. She goes into a different world across the wall with all of the Fae, and basically starts a whole new life there. And it is just, everyone knows what ACOTAR is. I don't want to stay too long on this book, but it is so good. And like I said, you should really read the ACOTAR series. And guys, number 1 is A Court of Mist and Fury. This is literally everyone's like favorite book. Like, I know that this is one of Destiny's all-time favorite books. This book is just, it literally like embedded a piece of itself into my soul. This was the best book I have ever read. It is full of heartbreak and happiness, and just like, this book actually had me giggling and kicking my feet. Like, this was, oh my god, I just loved it. It is a very thick book too, but oh my god, just the stuff that goes on in this book. Like, this is the same as Air of Fire, where a main character really comes into the series in this book, and it stole a piece of my heart. It really did. This book is so good. It's about Rhysand and Feyre. That's mainly who it's about. They're the main characters, and their story is just unbelievable. If you're gonna read a single book next year and you haven't read this, make it this one, because, well, you have to read A Court of Thorns and Roses first if you haven't read that, but then read this, because this is the best book you will ever read. Okay guys, that was all 10 books. I feel like this video is going to be so long, so I'm going to try to cut it short, because I talked a lot about some of those books. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Let me know down below what your all-time favorite book was, or just give me the list of all 10 in the comments, because I literally love watching these videos, and I love the end of the year because these videos come out. It's just so fun because everyone's personalities and thoughts on books are so different and diverse, and it's crazy to see how one person may put one book as their number 1 favorite book of the year, and someone else could, you know, not even think about that book. They're like, it was just okay. Like, it's crazy to me that our minds are that different. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe to be my best friend. And yeah, I have a lot more end of the year stuff coming out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.